Star Wars has faced a major problem for 33 years, but one unorthodox decision in The Acolyte could be the key to fixing it. The confirmed details about The Acolyte have suggested it could be one of the most unique Star Wars shows to date, and one of the most exciting. A new trailer for The Acolyte gave a glimpse into what the show has to offer, like interesting new alien races and settings. One of the most exciting elements of the show, though, is its potential to solve a big problem in the Star Wars franchise. The Acolyte takes place during the High Republic era, and it will be the first live-action foray into that part of the Star Wars timeline. Prior to The Acolyte, the High Republic era was only ever depicted in novels and comic books, which made it one of the franchise's most ambitious multimedia campaigns ever. While the many stories set in the High Republic era have been successful, they also continued a problem Star Wars has been battling for decades. Luckily, a decision made by the Acolyte's showrunner could be the key to solving that problem, and the series will likely benefit greatly from fixing it. Star Wars stories have depended too much on lore for 33 years. One of the main limiting factors in Star Wars' success for the last 33 years has been its reliance on already established lore. Ever since Timothy Zahn's novel, Heir to the Empire, which relaunched the expanded universe in 1991, almost every new Star Wars story has been connected to previous ones in some way. Even though Zahn's Thrawn novels have been classified as legends, they still have an effect on Star Wars canon. Elements of legends are consistently being canonized and inserted into new Star Wars projects, which presents a unique issue for more casual audiences. The problem with Star Wars' reliance on lore isn't the fact that it makes references, it's how important understanding the lore is to enjoying the story. The vast majority of people who watch Star Wars only know about what happens in the movies and don't have intimate knowledge of the lore being referenced. When those references don't have an explanation, casual viewers are often left feeling lost, which makes the story less enjoyable. That problem also extends to the more recent Disney Plus shows, which have been introducing massive amounts of new lore and referencing each other in recent years. One of the worst examples of Star Wars' dependence on lore was the Book of Boba Fett, which became one of the franchise's biggest failures in recent years. The Book of Boba Fett constantly made references to other aspects of Star Wars, and they were all poorly explained, which made it hard for casual viewers to get invested in the show. Cad Bane, for example, became the main antagonist for the final episodes, yet his reason for hating Boba was only ever detailed in a deleted scene from the Clone Wars. The problem reached its worst with Din Djarin's 2-episode-long cameo, which completely relied on viewers having knowledge of The Mandalorian. The crux of the problem is that there is simply too much lore and too many shows and movies to expect an average viewer to engage with. Relying too much on plot details from other Star Wars stories can turn some of the franchise's most engaging stories into required reading. It's a problem that detracts from both the story being told and the lore it draws from. Luckily, The Acolyte could have made the perfect fix. The Acolyte's showrunner sought out a non-Star Wars fan to join the writers. In an effort to avoid the franchise's past mistakes with lore references, showrunner Leslie Headland hired a writer who had never seen Star Wars before to work on The Acolyte. That was a controversial decision, as Star Wars is a complicated franchise with quite a bit of lore that needs to be understood, but it could pay off quite well. Headland said she hired the writer so that they could evaluate the Acolyte story objectively, and so that it could succeed without relying too heavily on established lore.